is my son.
Tim Allen discovers he has a son who has been raised in the Amazon in Jungle to Jungle, one of 5 new films we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Jungle to Jungle is the Hollywood remake of a French comedy named Little India Big City. Now, that film, we both agreed, was one of the worst films we'd ever seen. Jungle to Jungle isn't as bad because it doesn't try as hard. It's more mediocre than it is terrible, and its story starring Tim Allen as a Manhattan commodities broker who journeys up the Amazon to ask for a divorce from the wife he hasn't seen in years. She's played by Jo Beth Williams, and she has a very unexpected piece of news for him.
You sure it's mine?
Positive. He's got your nose, and he thinks he's never wrong.
The kid has a pet spider he takes everywhere. The trick is the spider only attacks you if you're shouting loudly.
Go to the village, save yourself.
Allen agrees to bring the kid back to New York for a visit, and at the airport they meet his business partner, played by Martin Short.
I asked you, I told you to sell it at 97.5, and you can't do it because I didn't say confirm. You're an idiot.
Look, for 15 years, Michael, you say sell, I say confirm. Sell, confirm, sell, confirm. You confirm, and I sell. You didn't confirm, so I didn't sell. Look, kid, I've given to the rainforest, okay?
Allen is engaged to Lolita Davidovich, who doesn't think kids are part of the deal she had in mind when she agreed to marry him.
This your female double?
This is my female.
And as is female, I'd like to invite you to dinner tonight with Fiona Gluckman. She's the fashion editor of Elle magazine, very major. She wants to see the sketches for my wedding trousseau. And if you're available, I'd love for you to join us. Is there anything special you like to eat?
Lizard guts.
Lizard guts?
Yes, but very lean.
Jungle to Jungle is lame-brained, predictable, and boring, and while the French version was memorably bad, this one is just forgettable.
Oh, I think this is memorably bad, too, and we're splitting hairs here. The picture stinks.
Yeah.
Just take a look at what happens to the talent in this film. Tim Allen can be funny. He's not here. He's gesturing loudly. He's falling into rivers, okay? Martin Short is a brilliant comedian.
Yes, he is.
He looks like he's embarrassed to be on the screen in this picture.
It's wasted, completely
Lolita
wasted.
Davidovich can be a good actress.
Oh, yes.
A cartoon in this film. The little boy, sorry to pick on a little kid actor, nothing. There isn't a single element in this film that works, not one.
So you think it's even worse than I think it is?
Oh, yes. Worse.
And I think it's real, real bad.
Okay, next movie. And our next film is called The Daytrippers, and is okay. I guess it's a little bit better than Jungle to Jungle, but that's not saying much. In fact, it's saying that The Daytrippers is pretty bad. A romantic comedy where every character is too cute and too offbeat by a half, I think. First, we're taken to the home of a couple of old-fashioned parents who are undone by their funky younger daughter, played by Parker Posey. They like her boyfriend better, but I didn't care about any of them.
Are you at least going to comb this mess before you go outside? I see Carl doesn't find it necessary to deface himself.
Carl, show Mom your nipples.
Finish your break.
And that's Ann Mira as the overbearing mother. Her married older daughter is worried about a note she spotted next to her husband's bureau. Is he having an affair?
I should just call him and ask him what this is.
No, I don't think that's a smart idea.
Why not?
It's very easy to lie on the phone. See, you can't see the eyes. The eyes always give you away.
So what should I do?
I suggest that we drive you into the city and you talk to him face to face.
The whole family tries to track him down in an abbreviated chase scene. Not funny. Stanley Tucci plays the husband. He's the only bright spot in the film.
You got it clear, Dad. Make a right.
Right. Watch out for that ass on the roller skate.
Get out. Go, Joker.
You're losing them. You're losing them.
Ah! Go ahead. Come on. It's not red. It's amber. Amber doesn't mean you have to stop.
What do you want me to do? Drive up on the curb?
And the story gets even shaggier when the family barges in on a complete stranger while spying on the husband. Later still, at a book signing party where the husband said he would be working but never shows up, a new romance begins with a writer on the make played by Campbell Scott.
Have you seen The View from the bedroom? It's really worth seeing.
No, I'd have to.
It just takes a second.
There's no view.
Yeah, whatever.
I did not care for this picture. I could see the Daytrippers as maybe a college student film, sort of the run-on story that aspires to be offbeat, where you get all your relatives together and friends together to tell some kind of funny picture you think. But this one doesn't work. I didn't care for it at all.
I got real tired of these characters. They were all whiny and negative,
Yes.
and they spent a lot of time driving around in a car, and we're jammed in that car with them, and they get old real fast, especially Aunt Mira as the wife. And she can be real good in the movies, but here the character was just so obnoxious. And by the end of the film, there's nobody in this movie you like.
Didn't you wonder, why was this made?
Yeah,
what was the juice? What was the excitement here? I couldn't understand it on anybody's part. Why would anyone finance it? Why would anyone write it and make it?
Good questions. When we come back, an erotic film from India based on the age-old sex manual that's become a classic, the Kama Sutra.
Do you think you're the only woman? I have hundreds waiting.
Go to them.
On the eve of his wedding, an Indian king is seduced there by a local beauty in one of the opening scenes of Kama Sutra, A Tale of Love. This is the new movie by Mira Nair, whose credits include two very good movies, Salaam Bombay and Mississippi Masala. This one is not anywhere near that class and doesn't even try to be. The movie is frankly dedicated to the erotic and the sensuous, as in this scene where Maya, the great beauty played by Indira Varma, learns that as a low-born poor woman, her future may lie in becoming a courtesan.
You have it in you to be a great courtesan, Maya. Reserved maybe for Raj Singh himself. The king.
That decision leads to lessons in the art of love, taught by a wise former courtesan who is an expert on the ancient erotic textbook, the Kama Sutra.
Now we add to this what the Kama Sutra calls the throbbing kiss. And this is the way for both lovers to have the pleasure of kissing the lower lip at the same time.
Maya's childhood friend is now the king's wife and is bitterly jealous that her husband has taken her old rival as his lover. She's played by Sarita Chowdhury, who was the star of Mississippi Masala.
Tell me, are you happy now? Tara? I was young. I had no idea then that what I did that night would change your life forever.
Kama Sutra is a lush and lovely movie, and its leading actresses are great beauties. At the same time, the movie is slow. Its story is obvious and shallow, and the performances seem to belong in a soap opera, not in a work by a truly gifted director like Mira Nair. Is it a sexy movie? Yes, sometimes it is, but it could have been a whole lot more.
I didn't think it was that sexy. I think that it was, you know, I was sort of staring at it from a distance. I certainly didn't feel involved in the thing. There was like almost a self-consciousness in the way it was directed to make it a pretty picture. Do you know what I'm saying? I
know what you mean, but don't you have to admit that these two women are two of the most stunning women you've seen?
Of course they're beautiful.
Is there anything involved in just looking at pretty girls? Is that okay? Or?
Of course it is. Roger, I wanted it to be more sexy.
Well, I did too. Okay.
Yes, and I, you know, and you're thinking, what drew her to this material? This is a terrific filmmaker. I think she should have taken this story, or the book, and made it a modern version, rather than going back, because she's a very modern director.
The story really has nothing to do with the book, and indeed it only covers a few pages in the book for that matter. I don't know that it could have been made into a modern version.
She could do it, because she's a very contemporary kind of director, and I was really taken aback.
Okay, coming up next, Gregory Hines partners with Vincent D'Onofrio in a whitewater race in Good Luck.
Times I've had sex since my accident? 5 times. That's 5 times in nearly 8 years. That's like 0.625 per year.
Now, how's this for a movie premise? Gregory Hines plays a paralyzed dental technician who befriends a blind former football player and tries to get him to stop feeling sorry for himself and join him in a whitewater rafting race in the very strange, would-be uplifting drama called Good Luck. Good luck with this film. I hate to describe such a well-meaning picture as impossibly cornball, but that's what Good Luck is. The football star's been jailed for destroying property, and here's where Hines pitches his plan.
You're using me, Lovely. You dressed it up a bit, but you're using me. What do you call your book? Life with a Drowning Star?
I'm not looking to write a book.
I'm looking to win a whitewater raft race with another gimp. To show them it can be done. To show the gimps of this world that we don't have to wait on the friggin' sidewalk for a Boy Scout to take us across the road.
But the football star, played by the usually reliable Vincent D'Onofrio, eventually agrees, of course, and so the odd couple begin their adventure together by going crabbing in Oregon. This picture's nuts.
Wait a minute, he's getting away. Watch it. Wait. I'll watch it. You chase it. Get the cooler. Get the cooler. Wait.
How can they qualify for the whitewater race when nobody wants to let them in? Easy. Make a bet that the boys can win a touch football game with the unsympathetic raft race officials. Could this be any more juvenile?
Who's going to quarterback?
Farmer John?
No problem.
I don't know.
$600.
You really blind?
Don't do that. $700.
I'm in on that action.
Hold on, Bart. We're out of time.
Forget that, man. That's money in our pocket.
Can we make it a little more interesting?
$1,000 on the table, man.
Man.
You know, just saying the synopsis, you couldn't put 100 monkeys in a room with 100 typewriters and come up with this. It's not possible. Good luck wears out its welcome almost immediately. Gregory Hines' character is written as impossibly cheerful. I never believed that D'Onofrio's character was really blind. I think he overplays the head movements, and the story situations are always just plain silly. I didn't like anything about Good Luck.
Well, obviously, it takes a basic formula, which is the underdogs get involved in the competition that nobody says they can win. For example, the bobsled team from Jamaica, right?
Oh,
and
that's Citizen Kane
remember the one
compared to
about
this.
the solar-powered cars and the little inner-city school that wasn't supposed to win?
I'd rather see that than this.
But this formula is utterly impossible. And what's funny is there's nothing to the whitewater race. It's over in a second.
I know.
You think, well, at least there's probably going to be a big sequence where they get into all kinds of danger.
Right.
And they don't. I mean, the football game gets more time than the race.
Yes, this is the biggest letdown in non-performance of a sport since Cannonball Run 2, where they animated the chase rather than drive their cars cross-country.
When we come back...
Oh, the pictures I've seen.
Okay, when we come back, I have another one for you. English eccentricity takes a dark turn in Gentlemen Don't Eat Poets.
One of the best films of the year is now on video. Disney's 34th animated masterpiece, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, you and your kids can share the movie Siskel and Ebert gave 2 very spirited thumbs up. The best animated Disney picture since Beauty and the Beast. It's fun for the whole family. And it's the one movie you've just got to own on video. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, now on video.
Eccentricity than the English themselves, and you can see that abundantly demonstrated in Gentlemen Don't Eat Poets. The movie is set in a country house in 1949 where the roost is ruled by a thoroughly unpleasant amateur archaeologist played by Alan Bates. Here, playing Sir Hugo Cole, he simultaneously interviews the new housekeeper, tries to flirt with her, and sniffs her breath for signs of secret drinking.
Because Theo's young man is arriving this morning and we want to create a good impression. Don't forget his pledge.
Yes, Sir Hugo.
Good.
Sir Hugo recruits the new butler, Fledge, for a back rub and some gossip about his daughter's new fiancé named Sidney, who is a poet. Fledge is played here by Sting.
Tell me.
I have the impression that Mr. Sidney might prefer gentlemen.
The daughter's boyfriend disappears. Not long after, at a dinner party, we get some broad hints about how the body might have been disposed of.
Wonderful ham, Hugo. Go, man, Leckies.
I must say, Fred, I'm finding it rather strong meat myself.
Nonsense. George always gives us a good strong ham. It's all a matter of swill, he tells me.
The title tells us gentlemen don't eat poets, but of course Sir Hugo is not much of a gentleman. The movie is a curious hybrid of a comedy and a macabre gothic fable, and I never knew what way it was going to turn next, but I like that. It's odd and peculiar, and so is everyone in it, and the result is sort of the Addams Family crossed with Cold Comfort Farm. I like the movie.
I didn't like it that much, Roger. I mean, I came close, but you know what? It was Cold Comfort Farm. which I enjoyed so much, that made me think that this picture wasn't worth recommending.
Okay.
Because Cold Comfort Farm had a whole arc to the story, and it seemed more thought out. This seemed about simply the eccentricity.
Well,
for
but
some
it was
person.
also, it had a whole dark side to it. These people are real mean and nasty toward each other, and I kind of enjoyed that.
I just saw a lot of behavior. I didn't see a fully written story.
Okay, when we come back, our video pick is inspired by a birthday for the most famous computer in the movies.
I've just picked up a fault in the AE35 unit. It's going to go 100% failure within 72 hours.
Siskel and Ebert's Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Raisinets. At the movies or anytime, Raisinets.
Our video pick this week focuses on one of the greatest films of all time, Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey. Now, from March the 10th to 15th, the University of Illinois at Urbana will hold a Cyberfest to celebrate one of the movie's key anniversaries.
I am a HAL 9000 computer. I became operational at the HAL plant in Urbana, Illinois on the 12th of January, 1992.
HAL's birthday is an occasion for a week-long festival devoted to 2001 and the subject of artificial intelligence. To prepare for Cyberfest, I called Arthur C. Clarke, the author of the original story and screenplay, at his home in Sri Lanka. Well, you know, 2001 is certainly the best science fiction movie ever made, and as you probably know, it was voted one of the greatest 10 films of all time in that poll that's taken every 10 years by Sight and Sound magazine in London. It's considered one of the top 10 films of all time, but so many other science fiction films have not followed that lead. There has not been a film since 2001 with the same kind of vision or ambition.
Of course, 2001 killed science fiction films for about a decade, until the technology caught up with it, and then we had, Star Wars and so forth, which are, I guess space westerns. Great fun. I enjoy them, but you're perhaps right in saying that no one has ever attempted to follow the lead created by 2001.
The whole third act of 2001 is such a visionary leap into the unknown. How did you get away with that, you and Kubrick, in making a film with an ending that is so poetic and provocative and unconventional?
Stanley deserves all the credit for that. I just gave him some ideas and inputs, and the credit goes to Stanley and his amazing special effects team led by Douglas Trumbull and Wally Beavers.
The Star Child, the last shot in the film, as the Star Child, or at least 2001 fans now call it the Star Child. I don't know if that was really what you called it, but the Star Child turns and looks at the audience. What is the Star Child asking is, and how can we respond?
I would say that the implication is that the future is wide open. It's up to us what we do about it. Our destiny is, at least to some extent, under our own control. But of course, at the time, a lot of people didn't get it. And one of the remarks I remember hearing after the premiere was from a senior MGM executive saying despairingly, "Well, that's the end of Stanley Kubrick."
But it sure wasn't. The original reviews were generally negative, but audiences came and stayed, and today, 2001, A Space Odyssey is seen more than ever as one of the great visionary films of modern time. It's on tape and disc. It's our video pick of the week, and in Urbana this Thursday, I'll be showing it and talking about it, and Friday night, I'll be hosting Hal's birthday gala, which will be live on the internet. Now let's take another look at the movies we're reviewing this week. 2 thumbs down for the simple-minded Jungle to Jungle, an American remake of a French film, which more or less definitively proves that this is not much of a story. 2 more thumbs down for the Daytrippers, a pointless exercise in a dysfunctional family being unpleasant to one another. 2 more thumbs down for Kama Sutra, which looks great but moves slowly and doesn't have a brain in its pretty little head. 2 more thumbs down for Good Luck, the well-meaning but shallow story of 2 handicapped people in a raft race. This plays like it was made for TV. And finally, a split vote on Gentlemen Don't Eat Poets, the comedy about a sublimely eccentric family. I enjoyed it, but Gene didn't have much of a rooting interest on how it eventually turned out.
5 thumbs down for me after a week in which we gave 10 thumbs up.
Yep. Okay, well.
Yin and yang. Sinusoidal curve.
Rent 2001.
What goes up must come down. Look at all these insights.
Rent 2001.
They're all for free. You bet. That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including Return of the Jedi. The final chapter in George Lucas's restored Star Wars trilogy. And also City of Industry, starring Harvey Keitel and Timothy Hutton as jewel thieves planning one final heist. That's next week. And until then, the balcony is closed.